Now, WBOC News at 6, Delmarva's news leader.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Don't give it to yoga.
A local pastor in Worcester County expresses his passionate opposition for a school's new morning routine. Good evening. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Todd Curley.
And I'm Steve Hammond. Welcome to WBOC News at 6. A public elementary school in Worcester County has started practicing breathing and stretching exercises, but one Berlin pastor has condemned the routine based on his religious beliefs. This all started when 4 pastors were recently invited to Buckingham Elementary School to witness these exercises called mindful moments. Well, after the visit, Pastor Daryl McCready from Sunrise Church said he disagreed with the secular practice based on its relation to yoga. And Buckingham Elementary is where we find WBOC's Brooke Reese this evening.
And Brooke, those students follow along with that video.
Steve, Todd, the students are watching the videos in their classrooms in the building behind me. And it's within that building that Pastor McCready was able to watch the mindful moments himself. But he says he doesn't think they should be demonstrated within the public schools because of yoga's ties to other religions.
Deep inhale, exhale.
This is a mindfulness moment, releasing the negative emotions to help students become calm and focused at the start of every school day. It's demonstrated to us by licensed clinical therapist Jamie Mahoney.
The goal when we get really good at belly breathing, which is the most calming breath, we want the hand on our belly to rise.
Mahoney and her friend Berkeley Diaz say the purpose is to share coping techniques with children who may need some extra emotional support.
In the country, our understanding that social emotional education is a vital part of our curriculum. And if we aren't to address that, we will not, I don't believe, be really addressing the tragic recent happenings in schools.
But recently, Sunrise Church pastor Daryl McCready said this in his church regarding yoga.
False philosophies today are teaching people that you are part of God, and if you can access this part in your inner being, you can raise it up and you can be as God. And it's a lie.
McCready says the mindfulness moments have yoga origins, and he opposes public schools demonstrating it.
The idea here is that clearly there's some practices under the name of yoga, of seeking spirit guides and Buddhist practices and Hindu practices and New Age teachings, which are all what we believe to be false religions and not in line with the Bible.
Mahoney says she assured the Worcester County Public School District that the school's program does not contain any religious messages.
It is a mental health issue first and foremost. There is no aspect of this that is a spiritual or religious issue. It's a mental health and well-being issue.
McCready also told his congregation recently he's worried about the underlying potential motivations.
They're trying to steal the very nature and character of God.
McCready says his motivation as a pastor is to send people towards God.
Everything I do is for that end goal, okay? They too have a motive. And their motive is to try to gain influence with people so that they can teach them what they believe is true, which I believe is not true.
Be that as it may, the school district is standing by the program at this time in Worcester County. Now, McCready says at this time he is advising his congregation to follow the biblical text when it comes to these practices. Reporting live in Worcester County, I'm Brooke Reese, WBOC News, Berlin.
All right, Brooke, thanks. In Delaware, police now have a new way to seize firearms from people who are considered dangerous by mental health providers. Our Kent County Bureau Chief Tom Lehman is live in Dover tonight. And Tom, that new law was named after former State Attorney General Beau Biden.
Todd, before his death, Beau Biden championed a very similar piece of legislation, but that bill failed in the Senate in 2013. Lawmakers this year here at Legislative Hall in Dover passed the Beau Biden Gun Violence Prevention Act. That bill was signed into law earlier today, and Beau's father, former Vice President Joe Biden, was on hand for the occasion. Joe Biden took the stage at the University of Delaware nearly 3 years after his son, Beau, died of brain cancer at the age of 46. The former vice president said the new law, named after his son, was a fitting way to honor someone dedicated to reducing gun violence.
Beau possessed a strong belief that we have to continue to move in the right direction. We couldn't solve every problem immediately, but we could chip away and just continue to change the equation. That's what this bill does.
Patty Daly-Lewis with the Beau Biden Foundation says allowing courts to order people to turn over their firearms after being deemed dangerous to themselves or others by mental health providers will save lives.
It would make Beau more and more upset and frustrated about why we weren't able to do anything.
House Bill 302 was met with widespread support in both the House and the Senate, but it is also the first major piece of gun control legislation passed this year. One Republican lawmaker we talked to said he wants to see more compromise when it comes to some of the other bills that have been proposed this session.
We need to find where we can have unity and common agreement first and then work out from that common center, as opposed to starting from these extremes where people are going to be arguing the entire time.
The Beau Biden bill received unanimous support in both Delaware's House and Senate. Lawmakers are also looking at a companion piece of legislation that targets domestic abusers who may have access to firearms. Reporting live in Kent County, Tom Lehman, WBOC News, Dover.
All right, Tom, thanks. Also out of Kent County this evening, a manufacturing plant is shutting down. PPG Architectural Coating says it plans to close its facility near Cheswold in the first quarter of next year. The head of Kent County's Economic Development Partnership says he's hopeful someone else will buy the property.
It's good real estate. It has a rail siding. There's heavy-duty electrical and industrial utilities there. So there's a lot of potential for redevelopment of the site.
PPG says 65 jobs are being lost when that facility closes in Cheswold in Kent County. On to Sussex County, the auction for a local restaurant chain, Touch of Italy, will not be contested in court. After founder Bob Ciprietti brought back the company last week, the case's plaintiffs asked a court to review the auction, claiming it was unfair and manipulated. Today, the court denied that motion. However, an attorney for the plaintiffs says the court stated they'll award monetary damages if anyone is found to have acted improperly. The attorney says his clients now have to decide how they'll proceed in that case in Sussex County. In
Wicomico County, Salisbury Mayor Jake Day has released his proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. It comes in at about $61 million. It allocates nearly $25 million to public safety efforts, with that money supporting police and fire. It also keeps taxes flat. However, it does include an 8% increase in water and sewer rates.
We know we've got a brand new $77 million wastewater treatment plant online that is more expensive to operate.
Day says the city council is working to lower that rate hike. The council has already approved the budget in its first reading. Revisions will be made before that budget is given final approval next month in Salisbury.
Meantime, the Wicomico County budget for fiscal year 2019 is causing some concerns, mainly centered around the Board of Education. And now businesses are backing the school district in its request for more money. Our Kylie Winkler joins us live from Salisbury this evening. Kylie, many are expected to come out for a public hearing tomorrow night.
Steve, that public hearing will be held right here tomorrow at 6 o'clock, but it's the people that are planning on showing up that are a little bit different than normal. It's the businesses and county's top employers that are all saying they're showing up to support funding of public education in Wicomico County.
It's proven nationwide and worldwide that investing in public education is the #1 economic driver for a jurisdiction or community, a city, a county.
Many in Wicomico County are looking to invest in the future.
We need to turn the tide now, or we will lose our competitive edge.
Businesses, organizations, and top employers in the county are backing the Board of Education's request for roughly $7 million additional dollars in the 2019 budget.
We just want them to hear from us. We want them to hear face to face that the business community doesn't think that things are going in the direction that they need to be going.
The request comes in two parts. The first is a one-time only request of about $700,000 to start the first phase of a universal pre-K initiative. The second is a maintenance of effort request, which is the level of funding that remains constant year to year. The Board of Ed is asking for an increase of roughly $5 million for that.
If the council were to agree to fund above the maintenance of effort, that amount would also be included in the formula for the next year and the year after that.
So it's not just a one-year commitment.
I think it would be very hard to come up with a total of the complete total of what the Board of Education is asking for. I think some members of the council would be inclined to see some increases.
But the community still plans to rally together.
This will be a sustained effort to force elected leadership to do the right thing.
And the big question is, why is all this happening right now? Well, the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Wicomico County tells me that the county's at a crossroad right now, and it's the perfect opportunity to support the local economy as well as the public schools. And again, this public hearing will be held at the county council right here in Salisbury at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. For now, live reporting in Wicomico County, Kylie Winkler, WBOC News, Salisbury.
Hi, Kylie, thanks. The trial of a man charged with hitting and killing longtime WBOC owner Thomas Draper has now been pushed back. In an evidentiary hearing today, the trial date was announced as September 10th. It was previously scheduled for June. The man who hit Draper, Sean Armstrong, is charged with inattentive driving and operating a car causing the death of another person. He faces up to 30 months in prison. His attorney maintains that crash was an accident.
Still ahead here on WBOC News at 6, a dangerous intersection still causing big problems in part of Sussex County. What is being done about the 5 Points intersection in Lewis?
And a new sign near the Bay Bridge heeds a warning for those in Queen Anne's County.